1 minute. You have this.
Nasty stuff, I love it. And with that said, welcome dirty people of the internet. I am DirtyHotte and I am bringing you another Destiny 2 Warlock build from Mom's basement today. Credit to Apathetic, cause I got the idea for this build from one of his latest video, where he was covering the core of this build in combination with Hawkmoon. You will find the link to his video in the description and at the end of this video. So, today we're gonna talk about an awesome Warlock build which offers a wide variety of 2-tap options in the Crucible and gives you up to 4, yes, you heard right, 4 supers per Crucible match. And that's not all. In addition, it's also really great to use to shut down stasis supers. Guess now I have your attention, right? Beautiful! Then let me tell you, this build is just damn nasty. So stay with me and I will show you one of the dirtiest Warlock builds for the Crucible right now. Covering everything you need to know, like subclass, exotics, weapons, mods and stats. So I get you completely covered. If you're interested in discussing builds, loadouts and see me playing different games, I like to invite you over to Mom's Basement, from where I stream every Tuesday and Thursday. You will find the links in the description and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And now let's move on with the awesome Stormcaller Lightning Beam of Death build. Okay folks, you still with me? Amazing! So today I want to show you the build I'm really having a blast rocking right now and melting stasis folks left and right in the Crucible. It works awesome, especially in 6s, but it's also pretty good in comp. I don't play trials, so I don't know. Whatever. So without further ado, let's go over the build and let's start with the Warlock subclass we're gonna use. And this will be the mid-3 Stormcaller, which offers a bunch of really valuable abilities to us. First, it gives us Ionic Trace, which helps us to regenerate our abilities really fast, because in the Crucible, every kill gives an Ionic Trace. Beautiful! Next up we got Ball Lightning, which makes our melee ability fire a ranged projectile. It's pretty handy and can also be fired over Titan Shield, for example, to damage the enemy behind, as you don't need to directly hit your target. Then we have Pulse Wave, which boosts your own and your early speed when you are critically wounded. And actually that's more useful than you might think, because that ability saved my sexy ass more than once, cause I could get out of trouble fast. Just a little side note here regarding the Rift which we're gonna use. It's basically up to you if you go for healing or empowering. Most of the time I run empowering for those little nasty 2-taps, but that's up to you, as we will have more than one way to 2-tap with this awesome build. Last but not least, we have the Chaos Reach Super, a long-range channel Beam of Death, and that thing, I tell you, is an absolute stasis super shutdown monster. It's just melting away stasis super users like nothing. It can be deactivated early, which is super helpful to save some super energy and get it up again quicker. And exactly that bringing up our super quicker brings us to the next critical part of this build. The exotic armor piece we gonna use, folks. The piece I'm talking about, and I think some of you might already have guessed because of Chaos Reach, are the Geomech Stabilizers. Its perk close enough allows you to top off your super energy when almost full just by sprinting. In detail, this means when you have 3 bars of your super energy filled, you can fill the last one by just sprinting around. I mean, you can sprint in circles or just anywhere else. And this dirty fox is absolutely amazing and is the reason that this build can give us up to 4 supers per Crucible match. This alone makes the Geomech Stabilizers the top exotic for this build, but it offers even more, because damaging enemies with Chaos Reach while wearing this exotic extends the super's duration. Dirty folks, I know, and it's beautiful, I tell you. So now we got the subclass and the exotic armor down, so let's talk mods and stats. Let's start with the mods I like to run to complement that build, because there's one mod that is really an amazing add and is part of the core of that build. That is the seasonal Berserker Mod. This mod gives a temporary bonus to weapon damage when your super ends. The duration and strength of this bonus increases based on the number of guardians you defeated with your super before. So here's some numbers. For 1 kill you get a 20% damage buff for 15 seconds, and this, folks, is already enough to 2-tap with most of the guns we're gonna use. Beautiful! But it is even getting better. For 2 kills you already get a 26 damage buff. For 3 kills you get a 20% damage buff. I think that's buggy for now, but at least the duration is longer with 35 seconds. For 4 kills you get a 36% damage buff. for 45 seconds, and for 5 kills to top it off, a 36 damage buff for 55 seconds. Let me tell you folks, this damage buff is huge. And it can last very long as well and works most reliable with Chaos Reach. Regarding this reliability, I have to say I tested different supers and Chaos Reach really worked best for me. And because we're getting our Chaos Reach super up to 4 times a game, it will also be available quite often. Okay, so with the 3 key pieces, Chaos Reach, Geomech Stabilizers and Berserker Mod down, let's have a look on the rest of the mods I run. For one, I like to run High Energy Fire and Taking Charge in combination to get that sweet damage buff while I'm charged with light. This is giving us some additional dirty 2-tab potential, folks. The overview you see now is showing what I run regarding weapon handling and stats mods, and I will go into a bit more detail about the stats in just a second. As you can see, my focus is clearly on hand cannon mods, and you will know why when I show you some weapon recommendations for this build. One thing I want to add is, with Beyond Light it is also possible now to run Radiant Light and Powerful Friends at the same time and receive both buffs, which gives a nice plus 20 boost to strength and mobility. This is really great, but I don't have the gear for this build with the right stats, so otherwise I would try to run those mods as well. With that said, it's time to have a look at my stats. Nothing crazy here, folks. I would prefer to have a bit more mobility, which would be possible with Powerful Friends, as mentioned before. But you can't have everything as hardcore casual gaming dead, so I'm fine with this. For resilience, I try to keep it at 30, which seems fine for most of the time. Okay, folks, so recovery. I think having that at 100 is absolutely great because of how the recovery stat works. You get the biggest boost per tier at the highest tiers, so going tier 10 brings your cooldown down to just 41 seconds. With Ionic Traces from our subclass pick, you will have rifts basically always ready on demand. Just a quickie here on strength and discipline. I take what I get for those two with that build, but they are not that important and Ionic Traces will help there as well. Now let's talk intellect. This one gives you the biggest bonus in the low tiers. So I think for now 70 or 80 might be the sweet spot and brings your cooldown to 4 minutes and 7 seconds or 5 minutes flat for 80, down from 7 minutes 12 seconds base cooldown. Going higher only improves your cooldown by another 12 seconds total if you go for 100. So I'd recommend 70, and if you have some stats wiggle room to go, then go for 80. But don't go higher because I think that's not worth it. Guess that's all about stats, and if you have some different ideas, let me know in the comments, folks. So I guess we got everything down except for the weapons part, so now it's time for that. Here I don't give you just one option, no, I will give you 3 wonderful gun suggestions to run with that build. The first gun which works well with this build is the good old Ace of Spades. With the changes to 150s and 140s, it's back at the top again. And I'd say Ace is the best option without any buffs up. It's crisp and it got some great range, and with Memento Mori up, you will even be able to 2-tap with Empowering Rift and charge with light. Oh, and those explosions on precision kills are just always fun to watch, aren't they? Okay, so time for option number 2. So if you are more of a guy for those hard-hitting guns, I suggest a solid 120 legendary. Personally, I use my trusted True Prophecy with Rangefinder and Rampage plus Rampage mod. That thing is a beast. Nasty range, and when you got your first kill, it is 2-tap time for ages, people. In addition, with this build you can 2-tap while charged with light, from an Empowering Rift, or with the Berserker Mod buff up. So that are some nasty, dirty, potential 2-tap options, folks. I get a little bit confused there. Never mind. I said before, that's just some dirty potential, folks. And in addition, it also frees up an exotic slot as well. But yeah. Is this the best gun for this build? And I have to say, no, I don't think so. Because the best one, in my opinion, is the Sturm with Catalyst. This thing is more about the feel, I have to say. But it feels absolutely crazy. Its range is insane, it feels so crisp, and it doesn't kick as hard as a legendary 120s. And while charged with light and also the Empowering Rift and the Berserker Mod buff, this beast will also 2-tap for ages. Moreover, I have to say it gives me and mom as well, when we use it, some nice hand solo vibes due to its looks, and it might be something for you as well, if you're into that stuff. So if you haven't tried it yet, try it now. So these are my 3 main weapon options, and I think each has its own time to shine. Ace is great for its base time to kill without any buffs. solid legendary 120 with, let's say, Rampage is pretty good for its range and its 2-tap potential, while you have the buff up and it's not using an exotic slot. And then we got Sturm, that is basically combining the pros of the two before, but yeah, it's using an exotic slot as well. Which one would you prefer for this build? Did I forget an option? Possibly. Let me know in the comments what would you run with that loadout. Okay, fellow Guardians, this is it. This is the Beam of Death 2-tap Warlock super chaining 2-tapping stasis shutdown monster for the Crucible. I'd say give it a try and let me know your feedback in the comments or on Twitter. If you liked what you have been seeing and want to see more stuff coming to you from Mom's Basement, make sure to like and subscribe, hit the bell and comment below. To stay updated, follow me on Twitter as well, or just drop in one of my streams over at twitch.tv where I am live every Tuesday and Thursday. So that's all from me, and all I gotta say is stay dirty, people. DirtyHotte out.